realized that there were a number of English alumni who had gotten involved in podcasting, very different podcasts, and I thought it would be a great thing to bring them back to campus, particularly for people who are trying to envision, like, what is that next step after graduation. So to see how someone else has actually done that, I think is really, really helpful.
My podcast is called This Is Not For You Podcast. It's about the book House of Leaves.
I'm a high school English teacher at Dowling Catholic High School, West Des Moines, Iowa. And as part of my role as co-publications coordinator for the ICCE Executive Board, the Iowa Council of Teachers of English Executive Board, I moderate and produce and write the ICCE podcast. When I was in high school, I did a lot of theater and stuff like that and thought, oh, that's kind of a performance-based thing that maybe I could give a try.
My name is Lucy Fitzgerald. I'm one of the 3 co-hosts of the Wine and Crime podcast.
I think that one of the things I really appreciate, it does take a certain level of dedication, because it's, you need to have something that comes out on a regular schedule and with a regular kind of content. I do think it's important for current students to have a sense of, how do people make that next step, because that is, no doubt about it, that is a tricky thing, particularly in fields that are not pre-professional, to understand, exactly what is the path you take to a career, or to even just find kind of fulfilling work.
Look into your technological options, because you don't need, $500 microphone and a soundboard and all that kind of stuff. You can do it on your phone. You can do it with a $30 microphone. You can find free programs to edit it or to upload it, that kind of thing. So the technological options are there as long as you have the drive to do it. Even if you have a very narrow idea, you'll find an audience for it.
You have an idea and you are genuinely interested in it yourself, then do it. You can figure out the logistics as you go. It doesn't need to be that difficult. There are tools online. Anchor is a really great program to use. Audacity is a really good program. It's free. You can use that to mix your sound and, I believe, publish your products.
Being an English teacher, I'm a big reader, and that led me to audiobooks, which I really started to enjoy, which naturally kind of led me to podcasts. Particularly, I guess I thought of them as free audiobooks. By listening to a lot of podcasts, you get a lot of great ideas as far as approaches to take.
Plan on doing a few side ideas, comparing, some things like the Blair Witch Project movie. Some people compare the book to that, so I want to talk to people, have a few episodes about that.
We are talking about writing a book together as a podcast. We're going to look into developing our own line of wines. So just sort of diversifying with the brand that we have existing is something that's going to be happening in 2019. But I would like to be in some sort of entertainment publishing capacity.
One of the things that I'm hoping to do in the near future is get my students podcasting.
Photos is a good funny one that talks about a lot of the Bigfoot, UFO, that kind of thing. And one of them is The Illusionists. It's produced by a British lady who goes through and talks about parts of speech and how they might have changed over time, or how the meaning has changed, etymology, things like that. Lexicon Valley is the one I was trying to think of. And it's kind of the same thing. A guy goes through, why do we say like when we mean something else, or why does every language have a word for red but not every language has a word for white, that kind of thing.
This American Life, love it. Invisibilia and Hidden Brain are 2 other kind of NPR ones that sort of focus on psychology and just sort of like those invisible components of life that affect us all. I think it's very, very interesting. Ologies. It's hosted by Allie Ward, and she just invites experts in various fields to come on her show, and she asks smart people to do questions. So anything that just kind of has like a little bit of humor blended in there, just a little bit of lightheartedness, depending, even though the topic might be kind of heavy, anything that adds a little bit of levity to kind of a serious scenario is that's appealing to me.
A lot of the NPR podcasts I'm really big into. Shankar Vedantam does Hidden Brain podcast. Lore is sort of a creepy folklore type stuff, which I really like. There are some teaching and book related reading ones that I really like too.
My advice would be to do it.
Definitely just to go ahead and do it.
I would say go for it. It's easier now than it ever has been, and there are people out there, YouTube videos that help you and stuff. I mean, it was really cool hearing Lucy's story of how she just kind of started something and where it's taking her, and so just jump in and do it.